Hi there, and welcome to Chemystery. I'm Terri.
And I'm Dave. We've each picked a few of our favorite molecules, and we're challenging each other to identify them. We invite you to play along and see if you can recognize these molecules. Terri's going to start with some familiar small molecules. Ready, Terri?
As ever, first I'm going to take us down to the atomic level with this grain of salt, enlarging it 10 million times. Now we can see the sodium and chloride ions in a regular array. Some atoms can exist by themselves, such as the noble gas argon, but most combine with other atoms to form molecules. The molecules I picked are built out of these atoms: carbon, nitrogen, oxygen, and hydrogen. 2 contain sulfur.
With Linus Pauling standard colors, I see.
Yes. Okay, Dave, for your first molecule, combine 1 oxygen with 2 hydrogens and you get something found all over our planet. I think most people recognize it by its chemical formula, H2O.
Oh, that's easy. It's water.
They'll get harder as we go. Here's another clear, colorless liquid produced and consumed by humans since ancient times. We also use it as a fuel additive. The concentration of it when mixed with water has special units, proof of its significance to us.
It's ethanol, the alcohol in alcoholic drinks.
How about this molecule? Composed only of carbon atoms, 60 of them. It forms a perfect sphere and got its name from a popular American engineer who invented the geodesic dome.
Got it. Buckminster fullerene.
Right.
How could I miss that one? I see pictures of fullerenes and Bucky tubes everywhere I look these days.
Well, try this one. It's also a man-made invention that's been around for decades. It's a polymer of adipic acid and hexamethyldiamine. It has many uses. Most commonly, we see it in fiber form in clothing. It has been used as a substitute for silk in women's stockings.
Oh, you gave it away. You must mean nylon.
You got it. Okay, now check this out. This particular arrangement of nitrogen and oxygen make this molecule explosively unstable. A vigorous jolt will cause the spontaneous and instantaneous rearrangement of the atoms into carbon dioxide, nitrogen gas, and water, plus some thick carbony smoke.
I'm going to guess this is nitroglycerin?
Nope. Nitroglycerin looks like this. Try again.
Oh, it must be TNT.
Which stands for...
Well...
Trinitrotoluene, TNT. How about these two? They look quite different, but they both do the same thing. Both of these molecules kill bacteria but have little or no injurious effect on our own bodies.
Those would be antibiotics?
Yes. So which ones are these?
One must be penicillin. As I remember, it has an unusual 4-membered ring. So penicillin must be that one on the left. Help me out on the other one.
It's tetracycline.
Oh, it looks very complicated. Where are the 4 rings?
You can see them in this bond diagram. Okay, Dave, this next one was named for the Roman god of dreams. It tastes bitter, but that hasn't stopped people from eating and smoking it for centuries. You might have figured out already that it is a drug, a painkiller in fact. Its natural source is the opium poppy.
Oh yes, I know it. Morphine, named after Morpheus. You may not know this, but heroin is converted into morphine in the body, which then acts on the brain.
No, I didn't know. No wonder heroin's so addictive.
So you can see why distribution and use of morphine is carefully regulated.
Not so for my next one. It's a painkiller too, but you can get it over the counter.
Aspirin?
Yes, or acetylsalicylic acid to a chemist. Hanging in there, Dave?
Yeah.
Not dozing off?
Well...
Then you could use some of this. It's a very common stimulant. Think of your favorite morning beverage.
Got it. Caffeine.
Yep. Now how about this one? Take off this carbon atom and you get the predominant stimulant in chocolate.
Theobromine?
Way to go, Dave. Just a few more, then it's your turn to quiz me. Here's something you might put in that morning cup of joe. It belongs to a class of compounds we call carbohydrates because their chemical structure reflects a 1-to-1 combination of carbon and water. Do you have a sweet tooth?
Oh, I sure do. That's sugar.
Or more technically, sucrose, what we use as common table sugar. Here's something else that tastes sweet, but it's not a digestible carbohydrate. Can you guess it?
I can think of saccharin and aspartame. Which one is this?
Saccharin. Now I know you'll get this one. Even though this molecule is essential for our health, it has earned a bad name because too much of it hardens the arteries and causes heart disease.
Of course, it's cholesterol.
So why must we have it?
Well, it's important in strengthening our cell membranes, and cholesterol also serves as the starting point for building many important hormones.
Like these?
Exactly.
These 2 sex hormones appear when we reach puberty. It's amazing they look so similar, but have very different effects. One is testosterone, the male sex hormone, and the other estradiol, one of the female sex hormones. Can you tell them apart?
Yeah, the male one has a little something extra.
That'll make it easy to remember.
Now it's my turn. I have several macromolecules for you to guess. These are all very large molecules made in living cells. Our atom set includes phosphorus now, and I'm removing all the hydrogen atoms to simplify the structures. There are just too many of them. I'm also going to use a slightly different coloring scheme that makes the chemical properties of the molecules a little clearer. Ready?
Let me have it.
Okay, this first one's easy to recognize. It carries the genetic code that gets passed on from one generation to the next.
Of course. DNA, my personal favorite.
Yep, DNA is actually the largest molecule that we make. We're only looking at a tiny section in the middle here. The actual molecule can be millimeters in length.
But still too thin to see.
Right, now let's try a protein. I'm sure you've heard of this one. It has 2 polypeptide chains. Your pancreas secretes this hormone to control blood sugar levels. And diabetics who have lost the ability to produce this protein help their body out by taking daily injections of it.
It must be insulin.
Yep. This next protein is much larger and more complicated. Can you see all 4 of the polypeptide chains?
Mm-hmm.
You can find this molecule and many others like it in your bloodstream, where it protects you from bacteria and other microscopic invaders.
An antibody?
That's right. You might also hear it called an immunoglobulin.
As in immunity?
Yes. And speaking of microscopic invaders, do you recognize this one? It has a highly symmetrical protein shell hiding a long strand of RNA inside. Do you know what it is?
It looks like a virus, but which one?
Oh, here's another hint. It presented a huge threat before Jonas Salk invented a vaccine that thwarted its spread.
Poliovirus.
Exactly. Someone infected by this virus would get poliomyelitis. Okay, now how about this one? It looks very similar, but it's not as dangerous as poliovirus. We don't have a vaccine for it now because it changes with each generation.
Rhinovirus. Rhino for nose.
That's right. This virus causes the common cold. Next, we have an enzyme, which is simply a protein that catalyzes a chemical reaction. This one is found in your stomach, where it breaks down proteins in your food. See that big cleft on the top?
Uh-huh.
Protein strands fit in there and get cut into small pieces.
It must be a digestive enzyme. What do you call it?
This one is pepsin, and it's unusual because it's stable in the acidic digestive juices in your stomach.
All of this talk of digestion makes me hungry.
Oh, hold on, Terri, we're almost through. Here's a molecule found in your blood. In fact, it gives blood its color. Red blood cells carry it throughout your body, picking up oxygen in the lungs and delivering it to the tissues. Can you see the 4 subunits?
Uh-huh. It must be hemoglobin.
That's right. And if you look carefully, you can easily see a change in shape when oxygen binds. Here it is with oxygen. Here it is without. With, without.
I could watch this all day.
Moving right along, here's the most plentiful protein in your body. It forms strong molecular cables that hold your body together. The 3 separate protein strands twist into a tight triple helix.
Give me another hint.
When you boil this protein, you get gelatin.
One more hint?
Movie stars might get injections of small amounts of this protein under their skin to fill out lips or hide wrinkles.
Oh, I know. Collagen.
Yep, this next one is the most plentiful protein on the planet. All plants have this enzyme, which performs an essential step in photosynthesis. Do you recognize it?
Not yet.
Oh, well, I'm not surprised. It's certainly not a household name. This is ribulose bisphosphate carboxylase oxygenase.
What?
Rubisco for short.
Rubisco. That's easier to say anyway.
So Rubisco captures sunlight energy to make sugars that are stored in plants. We then get this stored energy from the food we eat. Now I have a protein that's found inside your retinas. In the center of it, notice there's a small molecule of retinol. Retinol chemically changes in response to light, and the protein passes the message onto the nerves that carry it to your brain.
Keep going.
Think of optics, the optician.
Okay, now I got it. It's rhodopsin.
Right. Now, for your last challenge, I have this enormous macromolecular complex. All plants and animals, since life began, have possessed this molecular machinery in some form.
So it must be important.
Sure is. It translates genetic information into proteins. It has 2 main subunits, each containing both RNA and protein. Recent evidence suggests that it's a ribozyme as opposed to an enzyme because the catalytic site contains only RNA. Have you figured this one out?
Of course. It's a ribosome.
Right again.
Well, we finished with a big one. Quite a range from water to the ribosome. Thanks, Dave, for a fun diversion. I hope we can do this again sometime.
Thank you, Terri, for playing along. Until next time.